Hey everybody, welcome to Talking Poop. I'm your host Jason Bromley, and today I'm joined by two very special guests. To my left, we have a man, a myth, a legend, Brian the Machine motherfucking Gun. What's up, Brian?
Oh, happy to be back on the podcast after a break.
It has been a moment or two. We're glad to have you back because you are one of our audience's favorite mainstays.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes. And on the other line, for the first time, Alicia fucking Trash Panda Ireno. What's up?
My fingers smell weird.
What?
My fingers smell weird. It
Where
smells
have
like
they
a
been?
butthole. My lawyer has asked me not to answer any questions without them present. So.
Well, this is a big deal, you guys, because today is the first time that Brian and Alicia have been on the episode not in a live format.
No, that's not true.
Honestly, I'm glad not to be in his presence because he smells like shit. But so do you, Jason.
We did one earlier through Skype.
No, we did not.
Yeah, we did.
No, we've never done this before.
Yes, we did.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we fucking did,
we
you
did.
stupid,
We've
dumb,
never-
disgusting idiot.
We've never fucking done this before.
Jeez.
And the reason why we're doing it is for a very special occasion. It is because this is the 1 year anniversary of Talking Poop. 1 year ago today, we released our first episode, which was Star Wars. Not one or two movies, but the all-encompassing universe of Star Wars. And I learned from my very first episode that picking a topic that wide and broad is a bad idea. Also, when I first started this podcast, my intention was, Brian is proving me wrong right now by showing me the fucking time when him and Alicia were on together.
Yeah,
but
we
you know
did
what?
a Game of Thrones episode.
So you showed me the internet. I don't fucking believe anything that's on the internet.
Easy, Trump.
So,
It's okay.
yeah.
He doesn't know how to read, so.
So 1 year ago today, we started this podcast with Star Wars. And at the time, my intention was to have like 8 different co-hosts that were going to rotate throughout and be a different point of view like every week. And what it turned out to happen, or what wound up happening, was that all of those co-hosts left. And I was left with Brian Gunn and Alicia Ireno, who...
The subject matter expert on Star Wars, and you didn't bring me in for that one.
You know, what's really funny is that I made a poster of the original 8 people I had in mind to be on this podcast, and all of those people's pictures were on the poster, and I just slowly started erasing them as they either told me to fuck off or that they weren't my friend or
you didn't
that I had
tell
talked some shit
anybody.
about them in a podcast. Alicia.
You didn't. I talk shit about everybody, though. To be fair, but
So, one of those
you didn't
people-
tell anybody that there was going to be that many people in the podcast. You made it seem like we were the only ones to do this
I
with you.
told everybody that they were the co-host of my podcast, and then everybody was like, "Wait a minute, you said I was the co-host." I said you were a co-host, not the co-host.
You made us all side chicks.
I didn't
That's
think
not
it was
fair.
going to be a big deal, but turned into a big deal. I lost some friends over it.
Your side chicks met each other.
Yeah, like instantly, like I had like 8 side chicks show up at the same dinner table, and I was like, "We're fucked."
Yeah, but your fault was you invited all of us. You sent out a formal invitation. We were loyal, but you weren't.
2 of you were loyal and stuck with me through all of this, and I appreciate you guys, and that's why you guys both had to be on the 1 year episode of Talking Poop.
And also because nobody else would do it. So.
And because nobody else would do it. But what I want to bring up is, I don't know where I was going with that. What I want to say is that it's been a crazy year. We've come a long way in this year. The podcast has changed. It's gone from what I would say our first episode was maybe Bush League.
To now Bushier League.
Now it's Bushier League, if anything. And
I do have a question for you.
no questions. Save your questions till the end. I'm doing my intro to the 1 year episode. You goddamn trash panda.
I didn't read the rules.
I can't believe Jason's other friends didn't stick around to do more episodes with him.
All right, so here's the deal. So a year ago, we started off small with 2 turntables and a microphone.
Two turntables and a microphone!
That's where it's at, Brian. And we didn't have a theme song. We didn't have segments.
We were called Talking Poop. That's a... Oh, wait.
Some people didn't like the sheer name of us.
Nobody.
They still don't.
All right, everybody's still against me. This is what I want to say.
I will say that we're keeping the name, but I still love the look on people's faces when I'm like, yeah, I'm on a podcast. Like, oh, what's it called? I'm talking poop.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have to introduce it as like my 40-plus-year-old best friend fucking has a podcast
music,
named
movies, and
Talking.
media that matter. It's not gynecology and rectology and science.
It could be.
I wanted to keep our options open in case one day we wanted to talk about rectomology.
I think we got pretty negative feedback when we talk about shit in our pants.
And prolapsed anuses.
Yeah, people didn't like that we did 15 minutes on a pink sock. I don't know why, but...
That should be a t-shirt. 15 minutes on a pink sock.
I agree. I think we're bringing something new and different to the podcast world. And everybody out there, you're welcome.
You're welcome that we talk poop.
Talking poop.
If you're not talking poop, you don't know shit.
That's right. If you're not talking poop, you don't know shit. That's right. From the girl on our card that when I hand out the card, if the name Talking Poop wasn't shocking enough, our card with Alicia bending over showing her butt crack.
A lot of butt crack.
A lot of butt crack. Like that butt, I've always said she has a weird girl butt crack because it's like a guy's butt crack. It goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, it goes halfway up her spine.
Yeah, like it dots her spine.
Some men like it, and I can't be born different, so...
No, you were born different. That's the problem. You have a weird butt crack. You also have weird feet. Should we talk about your weird feet?
Fucking hate you.
If Alicia ever needs to catch prey with her feet, she can do it because she has like these vulture claws. That's
just handy. That's good evolution.
Yeah.
That's what I said, and I thank my mom every day, and I call her, and I'm like...
When she gets a pedicure, though, they charge her extra for doing her back nail.
I got a story real quick about that foot thing you kept making fun of me for.
All right, let's hear it.
I met somebody who has webbed toes, and he can confirm.
Did you guys start a club? Just you and me, bro. Just you and me, Donald.
Yeah, kind of. Fuck you. We got these like little pins made and everything, and you're not invited. But I just love how like pissed off you get anytime I visit, and like I even put my feet semi close to you. Even if you get so mad when I don't wear socks around your house.
It's so
and
gross.
My feet are not that bad.
She's just walking around picking up Legos and shit.
It does look contagious, so
it does. And she's like laying on the couch. She falls asleep. She's snoring, farting, and her feet are like inches from my nose. And she's just like, "What? I'm cute."
Meanwhile, Jason is the picture of perfect hygiene and health.
Absolutely.
Never farts in the presence of other people.
I've never shit my pants at work and then finished out the day. Like, never. I've never gone to work with semen on my shorts.
That's more of a daily occurrence.
Me neither.
What I want to know, though, is it's been a year. It's been a crazy year. We've done some stuff where this is our 47th episode. It would have been cooler if we could have made it to 50 before we did our 1 year, but it just wasn't in the cards.
That's really on Alicia.
But Jason got lazy.
Yeah, it really is Alicia's fault because she didn't show up last week.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's not bad, though. That's almost 4 episodes a month.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And yeah, we missed a few, but hey, life happens. You know, we're not getting paid to do this shit. We're doing this for free out of the kindness.
Send us money.
Of our own hearts. But what I want to know is, I mean, we did Comic-Con. We did a live podcast in front of up to 100 people. It was, all right.
If you want to round up, sure.
Yeah, I would round up. Anything over 50 is closer to 100.
Sure.
Honestly, 50's... Once you hit 50, it's 100.
We started off with like 3 fans. It jumped up to like 60 fans. And now we're at like 300 fans, you guys. And I mean, I know Khloe Kardashian. Yeah, that's her name.
I think she's the big T-Rex one, right?
Khloe Kardashian. She can literally put a picture of her camel toe up and get 30 million like likes on it.
Wait, is that for real? Look,
yeah,
I am willing.
That's for real.
I am willing to do this. for talking poop. I can have a mad camel toe.
So can
Are
I.
we ready?
The problem is nobody wants to see the brain creature from the end of Starship Troopers, Alicia.
I don't think so. You made a video about monster porn.
How they just put a vagina at the end of that. And
They
like,
did
that
just
was
a
the brain
big
bug.
squishy vagina, and they squish it, and like semen secretes
So
out of
right,
it.
They just like stab it with that.
Yeah, it's awful.
Nothing like the book, by the way. The book's
Guys, stop
amazing.
talking about me like that. That's so
I've never
mean.
seen Alicia's vagina, but I've had friends that have.
But I know
Has
police
been
officers
friends.
who have.
I know teachers. I know garbage men.
It's not that bad. It just
homeless
hangs
men.
a little lower than normal.
What I want to know, Alicia, how has your life changed in the last year since you started doing Talking Poop?
I hate you more, especially in this moment. My life has changed. It's become more humid, a lot more humid in the last year.
More swamp assier, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've gotten better at washing my ass like daily though. So that's changed. So maybe it's changed for the better.
I would say anything that it brings cleanliness to your asshole is going to be an improvement.
Asshole cleanliness is next to godliness.
How
Yeah.
about you, Brian? How's your life changed over the last year since you started doing Talking Poop?
Well, my weekends have been fucking ruined because you're always calling me up to do a podcast and fucking give me some stupid movie to watch, like Vagina with Teeth.
And then we don't even talk about it.
I know.
What the fuck?
Fucking the amount of shit that I've watched for this podcast and then we don't do is ridiculous.
And then he gets mad at me because he's like, you didn't even watch the movie. I'm like, I didn't have faith that we were going to talk about it.
It was a good year. It was my first full year as a teacher. And I won Rookie Teacher of the Year. I got a short story published. And my kid's still alive. So that was a plus. I didn't get fired. Nobody shot at me this year. That was a good year all around.
One of the things that I heard
t-shirt?
from some of the people that I wanted to be on this podcast was that once they heard that it was going to be called Talking Poop, and then they heard a few episodes of it and heard some of the subject matter that we talk about, like a pink sock for 15 minutes, they had to decline because of their careers. But you teach our children, Brian.
Yeah.
And you just come on here anyway and just say whatever.
Well, that's because, like, if I get fired, I think that's more of a blessing.
Right.
Like,
right.
So I teach to, like, make money, but it's not what I want to do. So if I got fired, I'd be like, oh, I got fired.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's red for Ed for you guys. This teacher over here doesn't give a shit.
I'm sorry, I don't make enough money to work that. I work 60 hours a week as a teacher and take home, $900.
He's watching your children and talking about pink socks, and he's not making enough money to do it.
Yeah, we do listen to Talking Poop in my class. So, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, that is a big reason why I come under here, like, under my pen name, because I don't want my students finding out this podcast. Like, I don't.
Ooh,
want my
let's say your
students
real
listening
name.
to me.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Peter Jackson.
It is. You got me.
Alicia, did you hear that? We're supposed to have pen names on this thing.
I know. You know what's that's really smart, and I was not. And I have people at my work that will, like, I have people that, are super Catholic, and they're just very conservative, very, just religious and,
Well,
like
the Catholics,
wholehearted,
it's
genuine
like,
people.
You can't repent if you don't sin, so you got to sin first. So.
Well, they listened to the podcast and they fucking repented after 10 seconds of listening. And then they asked me, they're like, so I listened to that thing that you mentioned about Toy Story. And I was like, I don't fucking remember what I said about Toy Story. I'm usually drunk on the podcast. And let's just say my workplace has become a little different.
Yeah, I haven't been able to tell any of my coworkers about this because I'm too afraid that it would get to the principal and I would get fired.
Yeah, dinners with grandma have been weird since I've started this podcast because I've talked about, like, my masturbation and my sexual misadventures.
Everyone does.
Every now and then I got a coworker who, like, makes dolphin noises at me, and it's really traumatizing.
My wife was like, you have a card that you jack off to? And I was like, oh shit, I said that on the podcast. Now everybody knows.
There are times like right after I've said something on this podcast, like immediately after it's come out of my mouth, I've been like, oh, I don't want that recorded. Oops.
The worst part is I will ask, because I've done that too, where I don't want it on here. And I'll ask Jason, I'll text him after, I'm like, oh, hey, can you cut this part? And he's like, nope, it's already loaded up. I was like, fuck, I hate
like,
you.
yeah, no problem. And then it's in there anyway.
Yeah,
Alicia's asked me to cut stuff that I've specifically left in.
Yeah.
But hey, that's podcasting, baby.
No, I don't think so. I think that's just you being an asshole.
Just imagine where we're going to be next year, you guys.
We could have up to 350 followers.
300
if we play our cards right and I edit out some of what Alicia says every week, I think that we could have up to 350 followers.
Whatever. You know I make this podcast. You're welcome. My butt crack is what got us those fans.
I do believe that's why so many people showed up to the Comic-Con.
I think that is why people came to the live recording, is because they thought
more of this weird butt crack.
They thought it was going to be some kind of weird butt crack spectacle.
Well, you guys kept like, hey, you want to see her butt crack? Here you go. You want to see her butt crack? Here you go.
That was my line.
And it worked.
You know how comfortable that made me feel? I felt like I had to like show them live as well. Like they were expecting it.
No, we told you not to, but you kept doing it.
I don't know.
So on a serious note, though, I do want to say thank you to you guys for sticking in there, giving up your weekends all the time, for coming over here and making this podcast, because I couldn't do it by myself. We've heard a couple episodes where I do it by myself, and it's very masturbatory. So
he gets really close to the microphone. He's like, hello, welcome to Talking Poop.
Well, like normally when Jason masturbates, he comes in here, he puts the headphones on, he gets the sex worker on the camera, he talks her through the microphone. So it's almost just like podcasting for him, so he gets confused between the two. And
Jason, you masturbate in my old room?
He's masturbating.
Yeah, I masturbate in your old room. While you were here, still living in it.
You live with a guy.
Oh, that's why my pillows were so crusty.
Just so you know, it's like a dog marking his territory. The first night we move in, we just masturbate everywhere. This is my house now.
You can't see it unless you turn on a black light. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Alicia for her amazing songs. We're waiting for another one. It's been a while.
I've got a lot of heartbreak lately, so I feel like I got some shit up my sleeve.
You got a whole another album about to happen.
I did write a song called Being a Bottom, which sounds like very, very gay, which I love.
I look forward to that for sure.
Yeah.
Is it about
maybe
Jason?
that'll be. Huh?
Is that about Jason?
I've got a friend who likes
No,
it
it's about
on the bottom.
My neighbors.
Oh.
My neighbors who were super fucking loud. So I'm the bottom. I'm being a bottom.
Yeah, my mind went to a dirty place on that. So.
Yeah, you guys are fucking gross.
Sorry.
Keep it clean. Come on, this is Talking Poop.
I also want to take a minute to say some true thank yous. I want to thank Joe at Those Movie Guys podcast, because he helped me a lot with figuring out sound. We've had a couple episodes that sounded like dog shit, and he was always there to ask questions and help me out with getting the podcast sounding good. And I want to thank sometimes Phil at My Celluloid Heart podcast for always listening and giving me, like, he's always the first one to text me and be like, hey, you fucked up really bad on that last episode. And then I can go and try to fix my fuck ups before anybody has a chance to listen. So I want to thank Joe and Phil for all that. Yeah. I needed to take one moment of seriousness.
Skeet, 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 skeet,
skeet, skeet, skeet. Skeet, skeet, skeet. Give us a skeet for Joe. Give us a skeet for Phil. Give us a skeet for sometimes Phil. Okay. Also, Phil just did a really nice story about us on his podcast where he talked about how awesome we are at Comic-Con. And it sounds shitty if we talk about how awesome we were.
Just killed it.
Yeah, like if we're like, fuck, man, we killed it. We were so funny. But like when someone else does it, then it makes us fucking sound awesome. Yeah.
Alicia, tell us how great we are.
We are the greatest. I don't think we're like the three best friends anyone could ever have.
We are the three best friends that anyone could have.
And to be honest, I thought I was a part of a one-man wolf pack. And I thought to myself, wait, could it be? Yes, it is. I just added 2 new members to my wolf pack. So we're pretty fucking cool.
Can we mute her?
I gotta go get more wine.
What's fucking stupid is that she's talking about her wolf pack, but I'm obviously the pack leader, and she's just a fucking dog.
I'm a dog trying to be a wolf.
That's right.
Jason,
That's right.
The fattest wolf isn't necessarily the leader.
But the wolf that poops in the front is the leader. And I poop first, goddammit.
Why do I still do this with you? I hate you so much.
That's what your mom said to your dad right before you got made.
Ooh, ancestral burn.
That's, yeah.
Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Since this is the 1 year episode, we're going to go back to Star Wars. Because the only film that wasn't out at the time when we talked about the first series of Star Wars was The Last Jedi. And now that it's here, let's talk some poop about The Last Jedi. Ryan, what did you think about The Last Jedi?
All right, strap in. I got some fucking things to say. All right, first of all, I just need, because I haven't been on a Star Wars episode yet, so I just want to preface this by saying my entire life, I have been a huge fucking Star Wars fan. No, ever since I was a kid and I saw the original trilogy, I fucking loved it. And I was in 5th or 6th grade when the first prequel came out, Phantom Menace came out. And when you're a kid, you like those. It's not till you get older that you realize like they're not that great. So I loved those. And then my family had like a strict no TV rule during most of the year. So I read the entire expanded universe, read all the books. And it made me really sad when Disney was, you shut your mouth. Made me really sad when Disney was just like, oh, hey, you know all those thousands of books? They just don't count anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
And that probably pissed me off the most about Disney acquiring Star Wars is they just got rid of the EU.
I just gotta stop you for 1 second. What is the fuck wrong with you and Alicia? Neither one of you were allowed to watch TV as children. Like, what is wrong with you and your parents?
That's why I read so good.
Neither one of you come from like a religious family, so what the fuck?
Wrong.
Oh, you come from a religious family?
Yeah, my mom's Catholic as fuck. She's like a Franciscan friar now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's way up in the church.
And what about you, Alicia?
Like,
what was your excuse?
Everything.
We just couldn't afford a TV.
I think I just called my mom a
So like I say, like I tell people, like, oh, I wasn't allowed to watch TV because like I couldn't go to Best Buy and just sit there for 12 hours.
No, but I love the expanding universe. I love the comics. The first stories I wrote as a kid were Star Wars stories. I'd always hoped to write a Star Wars book one day. And so I go into every Star Wars movie really wanting to like it. And when I heard that Disney was going to do 7, 8, 9, I was like, oh shit, man, I'm in for this. This is going to be good. Went and saw The Force Awakens. It's like, okay, it's not that great, but it's a setup. It's the first in a trilogy. I can live with it. It set things up. It had questions unanswered. I was okay with that.
What about the new characters?
Again, I felt like they needed more. Like, they were on the screen, they were there in the movie, but we didn't know much about them. We didn't get to learn much about, like, Finn and
We still
Rey.
don't know much about
That's what.
like,
that's
their
another
backstory.
Yeah, that's one of the things in Last Jedi. It didn't answer any questions. J.J. Abrams his style is to leave open questions. He did it with Lost. He does it with all of his work. He likes that unanswered question as a writing gimmick, which is okay for a little bit. It's not great for everything. So
it's like too much foreplay and not enough sex.
Right.
You know.
I thought he had a plan for like who Snoke was, who's Rey's parents, why is she left on this Earth, like what really happened with the Jedi Order and Luke, like what are all these, all these things we wanted answered. Turns out he didn't have answers to any of that. He wrote a draft for 8 and 9. They gave the draft to Rian Johnson, the director of Last Jedi. He threw it out the fucking window, said, I'm going to make my own story. Kathleen Kennedy, who's in charge of all the Star Wars shit over at Disney, said, yeah, go for it. We don't need like a plan. So one of my biggest problems with Last Jedi is there is no plan in place. This is a huge, hundreds of millions of dollars have been put into this trilogy, and there's no overall plan. It's just, we'll let the directors do each movie as they want to do. Didn't
they do that with Pirates too? Not Pirates number 2. I'm saying like Pirates. They had the first one, but they had no plan for all the rest. They didn't even have scripts. I don't
think they thought Pirates was going to be that successful.
No, they didn't. And so Pirates 2 and 3 were the same thing as The Matrix. They were just like, get that shit out now. Like maybe they had a couple of ideas where they could go with sequels, but they definitely didn't have it mapped out.
And now, because there's no plan when Last Jedi, like, so Snoke gets killed in Last Jedi, so they're, like, literally in the...
Spoiler alert, Brian. Jesus.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, don't. So, if you have seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, then don't. Your big, bad, evil guy, Snoke, gets killed in the middle of the trilogy, and now they have to scramble to find someone. So, in the new trailer, I hear the Emperor's laughing, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're just bringing back the original bad guy just because?
Right.
I mean, this whole thing just, like, it feels like such a soulless money grab of, it's Star Wars, you'll see it. And they're right. I'll go see number 9, but I'm not excited for it.
Here's the thing, though, is that what's different now than what we had with the original trilogy is that we know everything about everything. Like, nobody knew... Everybody, I think, even assumed that George Lucas just directed the episode 5 and 6.
Which, yeah, he doesn't.
He didn't. They brought in different directors. So that's kind of the same strategy they're using with this one. But there was always George Lucas there doing the overall story and kind of giving them a direction of where it should go. But they did leave it up to the filmmakers to, like, fill in the gaps and create the story. And now they're doing the same thing. But now we know everything about that. We know the politics on it. We know where the money's coming from. We know all this shit about the actors. We know that Harrison Ford fucking hates being Han Solo.
Well, he wanted, like, if you look into it, he wanted to die in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, fucking kill me in Return of the Jedi. That'd be great.
We know Carrie Fisher, they had to literally, like, slap the fucking sodas out of her hand and the cocaine out of her nose to, like, get her to skinny up so she could be Princess Leia again. Same thing with, like, Mark Hamill had to, like, lose all this weight and shit. We didn't know any of this kind of shit that tainted it with the original trilogy.
But even with all of that, it shouldn't matter. Like, I went to see Last Jedi, and I don't care about the politics behind it. I don't care about, you know, the actors being older or whatever. I loved that they had Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher back. I thought that was great. And then I went into Last Jedi, and I wanted to like it so bad, and it starts off with that stupid bombing run scene where Poe Dameron's making mom jokes, and your evil guy looks super incompetent because he can't even figure out that he's being tricked. And it just, like, set the tone for this weird, quirky movie that wasn't Star Wars. And Rian Johnson's whole fucking thing, which he can't even spell his fucking name right.
Seriously, R-I-A-N.
That should tell you everything you need to know about him. Like, I subvert expectations.
Right.
So his theory is, if he makes something different than our expectations, it's automatically good. And it's just not. So his version of Star Wars is just full of gotchas. And it makes it really hard to watch through the whole thing. Whereas, like, Empire Strikes Back had that gotcha at the end. I am your father. And you're like, holy shit. And it was set up so well. Whereas Last Jedi is just, you thought this was going to happen. Nope, 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 nope. And you're just numb to it by the end of the movie. So not only did he come in with no plan, did he show up and there was no plan from Disney, his plan was, I'm going to make a Star Wars film that is nothing like any other Star Wars film. I sort of understand his thinking after Force Awakens, and everyone's biggest criticism of Force Awakens was, well, it's just like New Hope.
Right.
Well, you're right. It's the beginning of a trilogy. It's the beginning of the hero's journey. There was definitely going to be things in common. And people were saying, I hope Last Jedi is not just another Empire.
Yeah. And
it's not another Empire, but it's also not any good.
No, it's not. And I was going to come into this thing from as a counterpoint to you, because my thing the whole time has been like, we are the fans. We have to, like, take this entertainment as they give it to us. We're not allowed to just like decide like, oh, well, it would have been better if you did it my way, you know, like they can only take it one direction. But upon rewatching this movie, I realized that, Alicia's very distracting watching her on the thing. We're going to get to you in just 1 second, please. I know if you're like not involved.
I just want to get wine. Like, you keep talking.
That's fine. We don't need you.
I'm just going to like...
Yeah, we'll let you know when we need you. Come on back.
I hate you.
All right. So, I came into this wanting to like support Star Wars and say, you know, as fans, we can't choose where these stories are going to go. Someone else, this is all part of, and part of what sucks is that we know what goes into it. You know, there's a ton of marketing. There's a ton of like, you know, making sure that the movie's for everybody. you know? And so it's not about what's good for character anymore. It's like, what is going to make everybody feel comfortable? What can everybody easily swallow? And,
but they just, you know, like they obliterated the character of Luke Skywalker. They changed him fundamentally.
I totally agree. And that's what I was getting to, is that I rewatched this movie again. I hadn't seen it since I saw it in the theater, and it's different in the theater because the spectacle kind of gets you in the theater. When you watch it at home, the spectacle isn't there as much. And so it's more about the characters and the character development. And we've been following, you know, it was so great that they brought back Luke and Han and Leia, but then they just fucked them. Like, Leia's just an old lady.
Yeah,
now,
she doesn't do much.
She's like the mom. And then Han fucking died and no one even has talked about it. Like, they didn't even bring it up.
They don't,
Spoiler.
They don't bring it up at all. And then, like, Leia, they had a great, what could have been her death in The Last Jedi, especially since Carrie Fisher passed away.
Exactly.
And it could have been her death, but that was again, Rian Johnson going, fuck you,
yeah,
gotcha. She has
thought she
force
would
powers
die
and
there.
can float through space now.
Yeah, so they did a stupid
that
thing.
Was weird.
Yeah.
She didn't have anything to add for the rest of the movie.
Nothing.
And they had an out right there where they could have been like, Leia got sucked out of space.
Yeah. And it's now they have to throw footage and clips together for her to be in episode 9. And they have to figure out some other way for her to die. Or maybe she makes it through. I don't fucking know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's the thing
They're
about
going to kill
Disney,
Billy
though.
D. Williams.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Lando's going down. They killed off Han. They killed off Luke. Leia's going next. Billy D's getting smoked. I mean, I feel like they almost brought back these old characters, like, just to fucking kill them in front of us.
Yeah.
Just to be like, you watch while we do this. You like Rey and Finn now. You fucking like them.
You fucking like it. You fucking take it.
All right. Back. Alicia, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
You haven't got to say a lot. Me and Brian are obviously passionate about the subject, and you're not.
There's a lot of sexual
fight
frustration between you two. I think you guys should just fuck already.
Well, who says we haven't?
Yeah, I mean, we're recharging during this podcast.
Thanks.
We fucked before, we'll fuck again.
We're not young men anymore.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
So I do have some comments to make. So,
well, first off, let me ask you a question though. So we need to know where you come from on Star Wars. Did you're a baby, so you probably were like, your first Star Wars was probably the prequels, right?
I've seen them all. So I know, I think, what was the first one that I'm not a huge fucking Star Wars person like you two nerds are. I have seen them all, but I'm not like
the N-word on the podcast, okay?
But I think the first one was like the one with pod racing with fucking
that's Phantom Menace, so that was the prequel.
Yeah, so prequels were where I was at, where I started, I think, watching them. But
and did you like them? How old were you when you watched your first Star Wars?
I think I was like 8 or 9, something like that. I was pretty young, but I loved it. I was like, this is super awesome.
Did you see them in the theater, or was this like a DVD situation?
Hey, I was poor. We illegally downloaded all of them. We like barely had internet, and I was like, guys, it's fine. Like, we can do this. But I remember like having a computer game, and it was pod racing, and it was like my favorite fucking game. It was super awesome. And so that's kind of like where I started out on it. But I felt like when The Force Awakens came out, I was just like, oh, it's it's kind of like a very nostalgic, it's going to be super nostalgic. Like, this will be great for not only the Walt Disney Company, but it'll be great for like the fans of Star Wars. It's been so long. It's going to like just bring back so many boners that happened when it first came out. This will be great. But then I started, now this is coming from somebody who worked for the Walt Disney Company. And I don't like to trash Walt Disney's company or anything, because I loved working there. It was my favorite job, and I just...
Because you signed a non-disclosure agreement, and they will come after you.
Actually, yeah, I did. But anyway, I loved working there. It was amazing. But I do feel like for the biggest company in the world, I feel like the most creative company in the world, they're not really being that creative.
You're right. They're missing an easy mark to hit.
But it's like The Force Awakens was so... I thought it was nice. It was like, oh, this is great. I felt the same way. Like, okay, this is a movie leading up into the next ones. But then, like, I feel like it's never ending. And not just with Star Wars, but it confirms my my thoughts about it, because the whole fucking live action of all these other old Disney movies,
man, they are
and
like
it's like
back to back to back this year. Like they're not
and I'm
taking
like,
any breaks.
where's
in
the
these live
original
action
stuff?
remakes.
Where's the new stories? Where's, like, when Tangled came out, I was like, hey, I get it. It's like about Rapunzel, but this is a cool new take on this. This is really cool. And I love that movie. But it's just like, I did go see the live action Aladdin, and I was like, everything was like kind of spot on. But then there was all these new things. Like, they had to keep it very PC and very 2019. And I don't know. I feel like with Star Wars, I don't know if I'm seeing as much originality that
Then the really sad
I don't
thing
know that I
is
hoped for.
that whole expanded universe I was talking about with the books and the comics and all that fan-made stuff. There was so much great material in the expanded universe that they could have pulled from. They could have just maybe pulled like a few things from and just been inspired by it, or they could have taken a story, book for book, and been like, we're doing this. Because there was amazing stuff out there with Han and Leia, and they had been married, and they had kids that became Jedi, and Luke had restarted the Jedi Order. He'd been married, he had a kid. There was so many avenues to take this, and instead they throw it all in the trash. They hand the reins to J.J. Abrams, who's not known for making like complete stories. He's known for, leaving those questions and kind of leaving fans pissed off. Nobody at the end of Lost was like, I feel really fulfilled, and that was
I feel good.
great.
They're
Like,
Game of Thronesing us.
Yeah.
is what they're doing.
And they just threw away all those stories right into the trash. They could have used them. Instead, they shit on them. They shit on us as fans. They did their own thing. They didn't listen to us. They put Luke in Force Awakens for 10 fucking seconds. And then in Last Jedi, they obliterated his character.
Well,
it reminds me of like a South Park episode where they make fun of like all these nostalgia things coming back, and they call it like the member berries. You remember.
Makes you feel
but
good.
I do have a question for you, Brian Gunn. Who would you have liked to see direct Star Wars? Like, who would you want to be doing it that you think would satisfy you and get you off?
I would have loved to let Simon Pegg. He had a Star Wars script that he said, like, I wrote a Star Trek and a Star Wars script, and I had him, and I pitched him, and they just said, like, oh, these are great. No fucking thanks. Get in this suit and, be the fat guy. And he's a huge nerd, and he's a huge fan, so I think he would have really done it justice. Or just let multiple people submit things and say, okay, let's take the best one, and let's, instead of just saying, J.J. Abrams, it's you, go. And then
they should let it.
Let a couple fans read the fucking script before we start filming.
Yeah,
not just
I was
gonna
say they should let the fans be like super involved, because they're the ones that's gonna fucking spend money and watch it and tell you, hey, it's good.
The other thing was, like, by just giving it to, he said right off the bat, I cannot do episode 8. I'm too busy. So that should have been a huge red flag right there to be like, oh, we have to swap in the middle of this trilogy. You don't change horses in the middle of a race. I'm sorry. So they
got to break off that engagement.
But they did in the original trilogy.
Well, that was because Lucas started as the independent filmmaker, and he realized, like, wow, doing production and directing. I mean, he had ulcers. He got ulcers doing New Hope. He was so stressed out from trying to, like, micromanage everything. So he brought help on. It's different when Disney knew we're doing 7, 8, 9, 2016, 2018, 2020, whatever, and we're going to miss the director in the middle.
Well, I'm okay with the idea that they were going to switch directors.
If they had fought, but again, so from what I've heard, Abrams wrote a draft for 8 and 9, and then they let Rian Johnson come in and say, no, I'm doing something completely different. And now, back to Abrams for 9, and he has to go, shit, I got to get the story back on track.
Right. Well, the original idea, though, was to go with Colin Trevor, who did Jurassic World.
Yeah.
But he was such an asshole that they wound up firing him, and he was trying to do kind of the same thing Rian Johnson was doing, being like, well, I'm going to throw out the whole fucking thing and do my own fucking thing, and Star Wars, Luke Skywalker is going to fight a T-Rex.
And now we hear, I mean, I've heard it might get canceled, but like the David Benioff and David Weiss or D&D from Game of Thrones, like they are going to get a Star Wars trilogy to do, and it's like,
nope.
They're literally on top of the Google list right now for bad writers. Like if you search bad writers, their names come up first.
Yeah.
Fans,
I told you, they're fucking
right
Game of Thronesing us.
And Disney's like, yeah, you can just have a Star Wars trilogy. And it's like, you know what fans want? We want a standalone Kenobi film with Ewan McGregor, and Ewan McGregor fucking wants to do it. And we want that. Every fucking Star Wars fan wants that, and they're like nutting in their pants about it. Or we want a Boba Fett movie. I think what Jon Favreau doing with The Mandalorian is going to be cool, but it's going to be on Disney's own streaming service.
Yeah.
You know, they got to take that over too.
It's so sad because it's clear and they're not even trying to hide it. It's not subtle at all. Is that all they're wanting is to just money, money, money. They just want to rack that shit up, and it's like, well, utilize that money. Take your time to
good movie,
get the right people to
Last
fucking
Jedi
do
is
the right
not a
thing.
Good movie. And
like they can't. They have no excuse to say like it's not in the budget. Because it's like you're the biggest fucking company in the world. It is in the budget, and you can give the people what they want.
You know, back in the 70s when we had the original trilogy, it was like, holy shit, these special effects are awesome. That's what was blowing people away. Nowadays, we know a Star Wars film is going to look good. Anything Disney's going to do is going to look good.
Right.
But is it going to be good?
But that's the thing, is that the Marvel movies, they look good, but there's also a great story there. And they're being true to the story, and they're finding the right people that are fans. Even if you're not a fan, I don't think you have to be a fan to make a great Star Wars movie. You have to understand the story comes first, and that all the fucking theme park bullshit and all that stuff, it will come if you have a good story. You don't need to throw a fucking Jar Jar Binks in there to sell fucking cereal boxes. Like, if you do a Star Wars movie, kids are going to be into it. You don't have to play dumb to kids or your audience.
I'm sorry, lightsabers are already the coolest fucking thing in the universe. You don't need... You know,
they're iconic. It's all these iconic things that, like, you don't even need to invest so much energy into, like, I don't know. You just already know, like, what it is. Everybody's a fan of it.
And if there's people out there that don't know either, Mark Hamill, he's the one who plays Luke Skywalker, he was frustrated, and he went to Rian Johnson several times and said, this script is fucking up the character of Luke Skywalker, and you need to change. You are fundamentally messing.
Isn't that the same thing that happened, like, in Game of Thrones? Like, some of the actors were just like, this is not what the people want. Like, we are there socializing with the people.
I can't remember.
He's got a super weird name.
Super weird name, but he went to D&D several times and said, you're messing with my character. But Mark Hamill is a huge fan. Harrison Ford, he couldn't wait to get out of Star Wars universe. He was happy to have Han Solo die off. He wanted to die in Return of the Jedi. Mark Hamill is a fan of this, and he went to Rian Johnson and said, you need to change the things that are happening with Luke. Luke is a hero. Luke would not isolate himself on this island and ignore the cries for help and isolate himself from the Force and cut off all the rest of the Jedi and get rid of the Jedi Order. He wouldn't do any of this shit.
That was the biggest disservice that movie gave us, was the way that they handled Luke. I feel like they brought all of our favorites back, just like you said, just to fucking kill him off in front of our face.
They didn't just kill Luke, they killed his character first. It was character assassination, and then they killed Mark Hamill.
Right.
They, Cersei Lannister shamed him down the steps.
Stop trying to tie it in with
it's not Game of Thrones, Alicia. Jesus, I know you can't relate it to anything else. But I swear to God, if you start saying that Luke Skywalker is like Harry Potter, I'm gonna fucking drive to Iowa and shove a corn cob up your dildo.
Well, he's actually
oh my God, don't tease me like that. Stop flirting with me, Jason.
They have daddy issues.
Okay, but here's the thing that I want to say about Luke Skywalker is that he was fundamentally like done wrong, which is a disservice.
Huge disservice.
I give J.J. Abrams more credit than Rian Johnson, because I felt like he set all this stuff up and he was going somewhere with it.
So Abrams said
Luke Skywalker should have been in that first movie.
Well, so here's what Abrams said about bringing Luke into Force Awakens. He goes, I had several different versions of the script where Luke came in earlier. He goes, the problem was every time he came in, the character of Skywalker completely took over the story. He's like, I couldn't really help it. And as a fan, I was like, well, yeah, that's what I wanted to see Luke do. Right, shit.
That's the thing.
I didn't just want to see Luke at the end with no lines.
Yeah.
So at least Abrams had a reason. He goes, but he also had Luke in Episode 8 a lot more.
Right.
Luke was going to help. Luke was going to train Rey. Luke was going to go help fight Snoke. I mean, he had all these things set up for him the way Luke would really do it.
Right.
And instead, we get Force Ghost Luke at the end fighting Kylo Ren with a lightsaber that's already been destroyed, and really he's a Force Ghost and he's projecting himself, but he handed dice off to Leia that were physically... I mean, I was just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Kylo Ren?
Kylo Ren, I actually think could be a really good bad guy. I do think he is misunderstood. I don't like that they always show him throwing temper tantrums. It's like, I feel like
he's the Justin Long of villains.
I like
you can't
Adam Driver
really
as an
take him
actor.
back.
I like
Sure.
Adam Driver too, but him smashing the mask and not having the mask.
Yeah.
Like Vader had his mask and he was awesome. He looked awesome. I like the way Kylo Ren looks. I'm okay with the fact that they want to show off Adam Driver a little bit.
Yeah.
But him smashing his helmet and just not having a helmet anymore was fucking dumb.
Well, he's got it. It's in the trailer for Episode 9. It's back on his face. So.
But that's, again, like, it's like, okay, we undid everything in Last Jedi, and now we're undoing everything again.
Here's the fucking worst part. Besides the Emperor coming back, which I think is a huge fucking mistake. Because you're just calling back bad guys that,
They've run out of ideas.
Left. Yeah, they've run out of ideas. They can't make anything original. But what really pisses me off in that trailer is Rey has Anakin's old lightsaber again, and you're like, wait, that was clearly destroyed in Last Jedi. Kylo picked up the 2 pieces. And now Rey just has it again. So did she build the exact same lightsaber again, which is fucking stupid?
I did notice when I watched it again, she does have it at the end of the movie, the 2 broken pieces. And the blue crystal sticking out of it.
Okay, make it look different. Make it hers.
Right.
I'm sick of that. That lightsaber's been around, it was Anakin's, and then it was Luke's, and it's like...
They gotta member berries it, and it's like, if you're gonna make a new story, like, have her do her own.
Don't forget, like, it got cut off of... Like, Luke's hand got cut off with that lightsaber at the end of Empire, and it falls down that huge chute.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. There's
That's
just too many inconsistencies.
Again, to go back to expanded universe, there's a great story where Luke's son, Ben Kenobi Skywalker, he goes on a quest and finds that lightsaber, and it's a great little story. And they could have done something with that, but instead, it's just in Maz Kanata's castle, and it speaks to Rey, but we don't know why, because again, in Last Jedi, we're waiting. Hey, who the fuck are Rey's parents? Oh, it doesn't matter. Gotcha.
That would have been cool to see like a lead up into like how it came back into the story. Like if they took their time and just did like bit by bit, I think more people would be like, I mean, I don't know, every major blockbustery film franchise, like that's what they do, and it works. But
another fundamental problem with Last Jedi is when you're writing a story, you're supposed to have like an A story and a B story. Not, you don't want to throw too much of your audience all at once. Well, in Last Jedi, they have an A, B, and C story, and they give them all equal time. And the problem is the C story with Finn and Rose, it doesn't have any effect on the story, but it takes up an hour of time.
Yeah, they spend so much time on that, and that is to, I mean, let's face it, it's to be politically correct. They're like, we got a black guy, we got a Chinese girl. Yeah. If we give them screen time.
Asian. You don't know she's Chinese.
You're right. I'm sorry. Asian. And I feel terrible. The fact she had to like leave
I feel
Twitter
so
because
bad that she got, Rose Tico is her name. She got so bad. She got treated so badly on social media that she's just off the internet now, and it's not her fault. Like that's what they don't understand. Is she is an actress who went to audition?
She was fine. She was fine in the movie.
She did a good job for what they gave her, but they gave her a shit part.
Yeah,
the whole part where she crashes into Finn and Finn's gonna die. No, gotcha. No, he's not. Oh,
right.
They're gonna kiss. The kiss comes out of even Finn is like, why are you fucking kissing me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I obviously have feelings for Rey. Then she's just kissing him, and then suddenly they also run 10 miles back and get in before the doors close. It's just a whole fucking thing.
It's a whole fucking mess.
The thing where they go to the casino and they're gonna find the one fucking guy that can crack the code. Oh no, they found another guy that can do it.
Right.
He just happened to be in the jail. And then you have BB-8 like piloting. He gets him out of jail. He shoots coins at people. He pilots the AT-ST around. I mean, there's all these little like stupid jokey things that Star Wars is not known for. I want to take Star Wars seriously, and they put way too many jokes and way too much quirky, stupid shit. And then even Finn's fight with Phasma at the end, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't add to the story. It doesn't add to the character.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that, so with all these fundamental problems with The Last Jedi, and especially like you said, with the C story, they spent so much time on, we could have spent that time learning about Luke and how he was training people and how...
It's another huge question that never gets answered from J.J. Abrams. Oh, it's the Knights of Ren, and they turned on Luke. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I would have loved to see some backstory on that. I would have loved to see Luke training him and how that whole thing went sour.
So there's a rule in writing that says if your flashback is more interesting than the story you're telling, then the flashback should be the story.
Right.
Well, guess what? Luke training Jedi and have Kylo turn on him, that's way more interesting, and that should have been the fucking story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
how did Snoke turn Kylo while he was still being trained under Luke? How did Luke know that Kylo was dark? Like, There was so much there that they could have explored, and that just got pushed aside. There, and again, I hate to beat the dead horse, but in the expanded universe, Han and Leia's son, Jacen Solo, is a Jedi Knight, turns to the dark side, has Luke's son as his apprentice, and tries to turn him too, and Luke and Jacen have to fight. He kills Luke's wife. He almost turns Luke's son. It's this amazing, epic story that spans all these books.
That's what's missing out of these movies, is that those epic things aren't happening. They're spending all their time with stuff that doesn't have any consequence. No one's dying. No one's
even the whole
living. No one's going anywhere.
The slow burn chase through Last Jedi, I could have been okay with if it went anywhere.
Right.
The whole fact that they were like, first of all, Star Wars is a shared universe. There are rules that other people have laid down, and Rian Johnson just ignored those fucking rules. Fuel for hyperspace jumps has never, ever been brought up before. It shouldn't ascertain to the fuel that also powers your main drives. So that was weird. And then they're like, we'll have this slow chase for the entire... If you go back and watch it, you realize that chase is the entire fucking movie. The purple-haired lady, Captain Holdo, that entire... So I'll call that...
Oh, Jurassic Park girl.
Holdo.
Yeah. So I'll call that the B story, where it's like, it's Poe Dameron on the ship, and it's Captain Holdo. Leia's unconscious. That's the B story. That entire thing could have been resolved if she had just answered his question when he's asking her very point blank, do we have a plan? And I think...
She's like, but seriously, like, honestly, why are you so obsessed with me? Like, just stay at your fucking post and, like, do my orders.
And so she tells him, just follow my orders. Just like you heard Alicia say. Just follow my orders and don't ask questions. Okay, well, that sounds a lot like the fucking Empire. That doesn't... You're supposed to ask questions in the rebellion. People are supposed to know what's going on. They have briefings all the time. We see those in the movies where they're telling everyone the plan.
Yeah.
And this bitch is just like, I'm better than everyone, and I don't have to tell you my plan because you're a man.
Yeah.
But, like, honestly, this is
like
what
you.
Leia wanted. She wanted another female to, like, lead, and that's me. And, like, you can't even, like, step on me. Okay.
And another thing they did with Last Jedi is they tried to make it really like diverse, which I thought was cool. It's fine. You know, they had a diverse cast of characters and they had a lot of women in there, which was
I just think
good.
they did it in the wrong way.
Well, it's a good thing, but then they made her like she's supposed to be a strong female character, but she's just a bitch.
Yeah, she's just a stupid bully.
She bullies Poe, and he literally has her at gunpoint at one time. He mutinies. Has her at gunpoint, and she still doesn't say shit about a plan.
Right.
She's still just like,
well, like,
I'm
what
so
bugs
much
me
better
as
than
a
you.
female is, like, there's, in other movies, too, like, they want all this female empowerment. Like, hey, like, women are strong, women are leaders, women, you know, they can rule the world. And it's like, but they do. They make them out to just be total, like, fucking bitches.
And I get
and
it.
it's just
Like,
like,
in the original
women
trilogy-
leading and women being a boss is not being a bitch.
Right.
And it bugs the shit out of me. Like, you can still have, like, a woman as a hero, and it's men writing it, and it's just the same type of men that think like, oh, well, like, a woman who's the boss is just like, she's a bossy bitch, and I don't like
I'll give
that.
a shout out to the Reddit subpage called Men Writing Women. They always have great examples of men being like, I'm just gonna write this woman character, and they just fucking miss it.
But Star Wars is known for strong women characters in a time when there were no strong women characters.
If you look at the original trilogy, yes, Princess Leia is extremely strong character. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's Princess Leia and it's Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
And then it's aliens and a bunch of white guys and Lando.
Right.
So I get that they were like, let's make this a little more diverse. This is a big...
And I totally, I agree with it, and I'm behind it too. But like you said, like, make it count, make it worth something.
So they fucked up twice with that. Captain Holdo,
It's like make the people fall in love with that whole thing, and I didn't, as a female, I didn't fall in love with those characters, and I'm like, the fuck?
It's hard to fall in love with Rey. Like, Captain Holdo's being a bitch who won't tell her plan, but then Rey is a character that, like, she doesn't. Everything is just coming to her. She's not training, really.
No,
she's not getting.
I wish
help from
everything
Luke,
was
but then
coming to
she
me.
leaves and knows how to use the Force.
And she's an awesome shot in the Millennium Falcon with never shooting a gun before.
Never shot the gun before. She knows how to fly the Millennium Falcon right off the bat. Then she fights Kylo Ren in the Force. Kylo Ren, who's been trained by Luke Skywalker and Snoke, and she beats him. She mind tricks people. She overrides Kylo's mind trick. And you're like, when are things going to be hard for her? When is this character going to have to struggle? When is she going to face an obstacle?
Her difficulties are like, she even said, like, I don't know where I belong in this world and I need you to show me. Yeah. And it's like, wait, you're asking, like, it's also contradictory because it's just like, I don't know, what I would have liked to see is like she found her place in the world without having to like do all this other bullshit. Like that would have been a better, I don't know.
So when she shows up and she like Kylo Ren's there to greet her, she goes to the ship, you know, and she leaves Luke and she goes and she's like, I'm gonna turn Kylo around, and he shows up and takes her to Snoke, and then they have a terrible fight scene. First of all, Snoke getting killed like that was stupid as fuck.
It was that was another thing, like you said. It's just like, surprise!
Yeah.
Snoke got killed, and like, just like that. And
we don't know what to do with this right now, so we're just going to kill him.
He's not explained at all. Where he came from wasn't explained.
I would have loved to hear his backstory.
Why he's
as a plot
12 feet tall.
Honestly, what I thought was that one of the writers looked down at their penis after they masturbated, and then they were like, oh, that's like a Snoke.
Yeah, if you grab the end of your dick real hard, like mine especially, it looks like Snoke.
Show me.
Well, here, look. See, it looks like a big potato with a cut through it.
That does look like Snoke.
Yeah.
And then they have that terrible fight scene with the guards where there are multiple instances either of guards standing still, waiting to strike, waiting for their choreography, or there's one where the guy who's actually closest to the camera, so the guy you're looking at, he has a kill shot on Rey, and instead he does a spin move. Rey misses her cue to duck, so he just goes over her head instead, and then like 2 seconds later she ducks, and it's like the fight scene is filled with that.
That's
and again, it's Rian Johnson wanting to go, we're going to do this in one shot, and there's going to be one instead of just saying, like, this is a complicated fight with 2 lightsaber wielding people and 12 guards. This is going to need some work on it. And instead, he just said, nope, we're going to do it like this, and it sucks, and we're going to move forward.
Yeah. But there's so many good movies, too, that have fight scenes, like intense fight scenes in one shot, or like close-ups that are, or slowed down, like, that could have worked. I just feel like it's just so rushed.
Fight scene in Daredevil on Netflix, like that one take fight scene in the hallway is fucking amazing.
It's amazing, and they did it in Punisher. And I mean, in a world where we've seen John Wick, we need to see some fucking cool ass, like well choreographed shit.
And then I thought,
and I think of cool. Sherlock Holmes too. All the slow, like it's, I don't know, but it looks like it just all fits, and
go back
and
watch that fight scene again, and you will see all the. You're just like, man, this is.
I never noticed that, but I think I will.
There's one where the guy changes, like he's got like a chain weapon, and like he swings it, and his like back kind of blocks it, and then the very next like shot, he has a completely different weapon.
It drives me crazy in this one that every weapon has a little laser on it, even if it's just like the most minute little thing. You're like, why does every axe have to have a laser on it?
It's like in Austin Powers. You got any frickin' sharks with frickin' laser beams on their
so then
frickin' heads?
Kylo's like, hey, Rey, join me. And I thought, okay, now we're going to get something different. Kylo and Rey, she's going to turn to the dark side. They're going to work together. And Luke's going to have to like pull her away from Kylo and blah, blah, blah. No.
That would have been intense.
That would have been awesome. Again, that would have been great.
Yeah.
But she's like, no. She goes back to the fleet, which is still running for no point because Holdo won't tell anyone her plan. Then apparently the entire plan was, we'll send ships out to that planet. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That was your fucking plan?
Yeah.
That you just hoped they wouldn't see the fucking transport ships?
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
You just, hey, let's go corner ourselves on that one. There's one fucking planet. You don't think they're going to check that shit? Fuck.
Whoa, Brian's really upset.
Sorry.
Alicia,
well,
we need to give you some time to talk here because
I gotta cool off.
Yeah, Brian needs some Brian time.
You know what's been great is that I've been slowly sipping on this wine the entire time that both of y'all have been ranting.
No,
so
I know.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling tipsy.
I want to know though, from your point of view, like, you talked a little bit about how Rey is, and I think that they want to show you that Rey is super badass and that she's just as good, if not better, than Luke from the original trilogy. But don't you think it would be better if she earned it? Like if she had like more struggles throughout the story? That she couldn't just force lift a bunch of rocks?
What I would have loved to see, one thing that, and maybe it's something that's just personally relatable, is I love seeing movies with like lead female characters that find their own way and struggle alone and find their own like inner strength and fucking, persevere through all of that. And they don't rely on shitty storylines and badly written characters, and just to be like, help me. Like in this movie, like I just thought it was it wasn't the damsel in distress, like stereotypical thing. I think it was, but it was still kind of like I need help. I need friends, or I need like like I think it started out, what was it, in Force Awakens, where she is alone. Like it shows, and it kind of shows her like alone on a planet doing her fucking thing, and then boom, she's like on the fucking Falcon and doing her, I don't know, learning how to fly without knowing. But I would have loved to see like like you said, having the A, B, and C like plot lines or whatever, storylines. Like I would have just loved to see her like alone and finding, like having to struggle through, like really struggle through, because you root for the underdog, and you root for the people that are like, there's no way like she's gonna fucking come up from this, like this is shit. Like you want that emotional roller coaster with those characters. That's how you fall in love with them. The ones that like make you want to cry, make you super fucking happy when they tell even the stupidest fucking joke. Like when she holds her hand out, and he's like, oh, like reach out.
Yeah, you feel that?
Yeah, you feel, and it has like the leaf and everything. Like, yeah, that's funny and everything, but I wanted those moments when, I don't know. I feel personally as a female, like it's a stronger personal journey if she just didn't have the shitty plot line.
So like you want to see her like not be able to force pull out her tampon. She has to actually reach down and grab it.
Yeah, I want her to dig in, whole fist, and just like rip that shit out. But here's the thing also, when she finally feels that force, you realize after he slapped her with that leaf, first of all, a fucking leaf, she did it like on the first try. Where was the struggle in that? Like, why did it happen so quick?
She mind tricked the stormtrooper, and you're like, oh, you just know how to mind trick now.
Like, did she actually need him? Did she actually need to find him? If it seems so easy that she was able to like really put herself out. Like, she could have done that just by sitting in front of the mirror, looking at her own pussy and asshole. Like, she could have found who she was by doing that, but she didn't even think of it.
Well, and then that's the thing too. I'd even accept it if it seemed like they were leading toward she is the greatest Jedi that ever lived, but that's not what they're doing.
It's Luke.
Yeah, so it's just bad all the way around.
And then like the whole, Luke thing, like he just felt so bad about himself, but like she had to make him feel good, and it's like, but that's not what like a legend does. Like they know better than anybody good from evil, and he just like gave up and was like, oh no,
the Jedi
I can only feel good about myself,
so I'm gonna burn the sacred text. I'm like, sorry, but there's like 10,000 years of Jedi history where they did do good. Palpatine pulled one over on him in the prequels, but you can't just judge all the Jedi on that. And I really fucking hated that Luke Skywalker was the one that was like, we have to kill the Jedi. We're gonna end the Jedi, and I'm gonna burn these texts. And then they had Yoda show up to do the lightning, which made no fucking sense again.
No sense at all.
Yeah. Bottom line is there was just too many questions and too many like, what the fucks?
And Yoda makes a joke about like, oh, it's just the old ancient text. We'll burn them. Who gives a fuck? Like,
it's like page turners, they are not.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that was so bad.
But even that's coming from somebody who's not even as big of a fan as you two are. Like, if I see that kind of, thing, that situation
as a disservice to the character.
Yeah, like it's not genuine, and it's not for the fans. It's for the fucking money, and that's what I hate about it. And I think that's just, it's not fair. It's not fair.
One of the things I just wanted to see the most was Luke pull out his green lightsaber, because that's his lightsaber.
I thought you were gonna say penis. I was like, yeah, me too. I'd like some full frontal in a Star Wars movie.
I've looked up a lot of porns where like it's like they put Mark Hamill's face on it, but you can tell like it's not his body, and that usually does it for me. But like he pulls out his green lightsaber and he fights Kylo Ren. And then at the end, when they're like, I was like, oh shit, Luke showed up. They're gonna fight. And then I was like, that Luke looks really young. Like, this is weird. Like, something's weird.
Yeah. And
they start fighting. He's like, I gotcha. I'm not really here. Ha 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 ha. I was like, this is the dumbest fucking shit.
I know. And it would have made
dies. And then he fucking dies.
It would have made so much more sense if he was there for real. Because some things are like in the script and they've already decided it. And I'm like, okay, you could have gone with that ending. But it should have been really Luke, and he should have been putting himself out there, and he goes out like Obi-Wan did.
Yeah.
Where that's part of her ascension to being a Jedi, and part of his, like, it's no longer a choice. You are on the dark side.
But the bullshit, the bullshit came in earlier in the story when he's like, what'd you think? just because I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm going to show up with my laser sword. Doesn't even call it a lightsaber.
Yeah.
He has him call it a laser sword, which fuck you, Rian Johnson.
Well, he totally disrespects it, and when he throws it over his shoulder, even that is such a Star Wars moment, because even if he was done with being a Jedi, that weapon was the weapon of his father.
Yeah.
And it had been, I mean, it's essentially like an artifact through the generations.
To me, that was symbolism of Rian Johnson throwing away everything that
was important about Star Wars.
Scene, whoop, throwing it out. Get
well, it's like
ready,
they add the whole... They add the whole nostalgia, like, to get you, like, invested and get you involved. And then they're like, hey, by the way, we know you love all of these small details as fans, but fuck you.
Oh, no, yeah, that's 100% what they're doing. And that's what, like, I feel that way with Chewbacca. He is best friends with Han Solo, and Han Solo just died. And the only thing we get to see Chewbacca do is have a funny little moment with these little fucking penguins.
Porgs, I think they're called. Porgs?
Yeah.
I would have loved when he's sitting there, like, and he's got one roasting and those ones are looking at him with side eyes. I just wanted to see him in the next scene just eating like 4 of them.
Bite right into it.
Fuck you. I'm a fucking Wookiee. Fuck you.
Chewbacca is so cool in the side stories and the comic books.
That's what I was hoping for.
And even C-3PO and R2-D2 aren't getting any play in these movies. They're just wasting them being there. They're set dressing.
New toys. Yeah. You gotta get all those new toys in there. I waited. It was my senior year.
I waited 36 for Harry Potter.
And I caught an ass whooping from my mom for skipping school to go wait. And it was fucking worth it. I also caught like street AIDS or something off the sidewalk because I fell asleep on the sidewalk like where homeless people sleep.
You give street AIDS though.
Well, now I do, but I was a lot younger. This was actually how I caught it. Now I'm a giver. I'm a fucking huge Star Wars
sacrificed.
fan. I still have Star Wars action figures like on my writing desk at home, and I'm a grown ass man. And now I just don't enjoy where Disney has taken this at all. I don't enjoy what they've done with the characters. I don't enjoy what they've done with the story. I don't enjoy what they've done with the Star Wars universe.
And then there's like they had to do all this to like lead up to Star Wars Land. You know, or at least I think. Like I have friends, like I see them posting about, you know, like working at Star Wars Land and how everybody's just creaming over it. Which, again, I don't know. Like I'd love to go visit it, but
I see videos of Disneyland and like Darth Vader's like breakdancing on stage and lightsaber fighting with Darth Maul, who's also breakdancing, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This is just it's oversaturation. It's too much.
So I looked up Rian Johnson's stuff because I knew that he came from like a independent background.
There's not much there.
And he did Brick, which was a good movie in 2005. Then he did Brothers Bloom. So those were both independent like hits. Brothers Bloom was not as good as everybody thought it was. And then his big break was he did Looper. And I thought Looper was edited shitty and kind of a shitty movie.
Again, I didn't know he did Looper, but when I watched Looper, I kind of thought like this could be better. Like the whole time I was watching, I was like, this is a cool story that feels like it's not done yet.
And completely miscast, which he obviously is famous for, because why would you cast Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a young Bruce Willis? That's so stupid.
Yeah. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But
I do too, but that was totally miscast and weird, you know? Like, they should have either de-aged Willis or just picked somebody that looked a little bit like him.
Sometimes that de-aging thing's real creepy.
It is really creepy. But the Marvel's killing it more than anybody. Like,
well, they did Leia. They did Carrie Fisher. Like
that was awful.
Rogue One, yeah.
That looks like, really weird. It looked like a video game.
Yeah.
I just did some de-aging on Alicia's pussy for our last movie.
That probably didn't go well.
Yeah, like if you blew up a roast beef sandwich in the microwave, that's what it looks like. With like a little bit of like American cheese, the white kind, just like kind of
Alicia, put it away. We don't want to fucking see it.
Yeah, don't try to prove us wrong, Jesus.
Now I'm hungry. I need to go get some bread. You just reminded me.
Gotta make a pussy sandwich.
Pussy.
Wouldn't be a 1-year episode if we didn't get a pussy in there.
And I'm sorry, I've got a lot more to say about Last Jedi, but I'm gonna just like back off because
I feel like angry. I mean we're at an hour and 20 minutes right now, but I feel like there is more to say. But I don't know. Maybe we should call it good here and then maybe revisit at another time.
If people want us to revisit, we can revisit. There's a lot more detail I can go into about how mad this movie makes me. But I think it's what people have probably heard it already. People have probably, like, it makes them mad too.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and give you every blow by blow of scene by scene what's wrong with me. I could, because literally you can go scene by scene. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong.
And I can do that from episode 1 all the way up till now. I mean, I think the prequels were completely off base too.
The prequels have a lot of problems. Yeah.
But I've always argued that that's not our place. Well, they chose where they wanted the story to go. George Lucas did it.
There's the problem with the prequels is in the original trilogy, George Lucas had his wife and friends around him to go, hey, good idea. Let's try it like this. In the prequels, George just had a bunch of yes men around him.
Right.
He had been divorced from his wife, who helped him come up with a lot of the stuff for the original trilogy. So every time he went with an idea, it was like, how about an army of Jar Jar Binks guys? And everyone's just like, George, let me suck your dick. That is a fucking amazing. You know, as a creative person, you got to have people around you that are honest and that go,
you can't have a bunch of yes men.
Let's try something. The other thing is his drafts for the prequels, and I can tell you this as a writer, and Ernest, this is a quote from Ernest Hemingway. All first drafts are shit. Well, guess what they started filming off of was Lucas's first drafts of the prequels. He didn't let anyone edit them. He just came out and was like, I just typed them up. And I'm sorry, I'll go on for another fucking 2 hours. But
I know. I wanted to come onto this episode and have 3 different opinions because I wanted to I didn't want to just be like, yeah, Brian, yeah, tell it on the mountain.
I'm sorry. I do enjoy movies that subvert expectations. I do enjoy movies where it's not good guy wins, bad guy loses all the time, black and white. I enjoy movies that do that.
I agree.
I did not enjoy Last Jedi at all because he tried that. He went over the top with it. He did it wrong. He doesn't know Star Wars. He changed the universe. Fuck Rian Johnson. I want to fight you.
All right. And Alicia, I thought would have an opinion on this movie, but mostly she's just been drinking and doesn't care.
Not my fault. I'm drunk.
So, okay. One last question. The new Star Wars, we've seen the trailer for it, and it's called The Rise of Skywalker. And supposed to be the end of the Skywalker story.
The Rise of Skywalker?
What are your thoughts?
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Well, you've already fucking killed Luke. You fuck. That was the problem. They're going to bring
him back. He's like, this guy's got to make money. They're going to bring him back.
I get it. Like, most of Star Wars has been about one family and their drama. I get it. But we like that family, and we like the Skywalker story. You don't need to fucking end it. I think character assassination on Luke. Fuck you. Please come back in episode 9 and tell me he's not really dead. That's all I want.
I think he's definitely really dead.
Fuck you!
It would be hilarious, though, if Abrams came out and just, like, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, reversed everything that Rian Johnson did. That would be really funny.
Just a huge middle finger.
Yeah, but I think Rey is going to be the new Skywalker, and that's what that's all about.
What if he did, what if the first 5 minutes of the movie is a recap, and he's like, previously on Star Wars, but it's not really what happened in Last Jedi. It's like what he wanted to happen.
Like what they do with The Evil Dead. Like, they just change it to fit the new movie, but just ignore everything, and they show you a different recap.
Dude.
All right, we got to end this episode. We don't have time for our Flush It or Flaunt It. But we are going to do...
Guess what? Flush It's Last fucking Jedi and Rian Johnson along with it.
We are going to do Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Tell me who you'd fuck, marry, and kill. This game is the definition of thrill. You have to pick, you have to choose. If you don't, you will lose. Tell me who you'd fuck, marry, and kill. Who you'd fuck, marry, and kill.
Fight!
Are you ready, Brian?
Fucking throw it at me.
All right. Snoke.
Fuck Luke Skywalker.
Snoke. Rian Johnson. Kylo Ren. Rey.
Ooh. Okay, so first of all, I don't know if I want to fuck Rian Johnson or kill him, because I could fuck him to death. I think I'll just kill Snoke, because, well...
Because what's the point?
Because I don't know anything about him. So, just get him off the list.
There's no feelings. It'd be easy.
He's a 2D character. That's what we call characters with no background. So, I'll just kill Snoke. I'll fight the fuck out of Rian Johnson until he stops breathing. I'm going to push all those teeth down his throat. I'm going to marry Kylo Ren because I think me and Adam Driver would get along very well. Or me and Kylo Ren, we'll take over the universe. I don't give a fuck. I'm a villain.
Right.
And I am going to fuck the shit out of Daisy Ridley. Have you seen that smile on the girl? And she's got a twin sister.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Can you imagine that sandwich action?
I would like both of them.
So, you're saying I have hope in this world?
All right. Alicia, are you ready for your fuck, marry, kill fight?
I guess so. I'm
drunk,
here it comes.
Yeah. Finn, Poe, Rey, Rose. That's all.
I think I would fuck Rose because, like, she needs it. She deserves it. Like, after all the shit she's been through.
Kelly
Like, she needs a good
deserves
fucking.
a good fucking orgasm.
Yeah, and she'd be like, you know what?
Because she got fucked by the Star Wars community, but not in a good way. She needs a gentle fucking...
She needs to be scissored by a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
I want to show her, like, it's okay. Like, life is good. And
I really do. Like, on a serious note, it's a really shame.
It is a shame. Yeah, and the fact that the dude that played fucking Jar Jar Binks, dude was gonna kill himself.
Yeah, and the kid, and Jake Lloyd. Who his life is fucked too. We should not be. I mean, Ryan Johnson deserves it, but other than that, because he created it. But the actors
don't deserve it at all. Alicia, you don't deserve it either.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Aw, thank you. All right, so yeah,
so she's gonna fuck Rose.
Show her a good time. I hear I give pretty good female head. And then
because of those buck teeth, like the clitoris sticks right in between the.
I just nibble.
You start pulling back, and it's like stuck in the middle.
And down on him like a squirrel. She's just
I like chew on it like a Laffy Taffy. And then I think I would. Wait, who were the other? There was Finn,
Poe, and Rey.
I would marry Rey because I know, like, she'll take care of me.
Well, yeah, she can do anything without even practicing.
Yep.
And she can get me off without even touching me. She's got the force.
I feel like everything comes back to you being really horny right now.
I'm sexually frustrated. I would probably fight. I would kill. I can't say I'd kill Finn. That's racist.
You racist bitch.
I'm a racist bitch. I'd fight him, and then I would kill the other guy just because, like...
he's like Mexican or something, so you're racist there, too.
You're a double racist.
Yeah. God, you're such a racist.
Okay, maybe I'd kill Finn. I'd kill Finn, and I'd fight the other guy.
Super racist, that decision.
But you know what? It's
actually racist if you don't kill him because he's black.
Right, that's true.
If that's your only reason for not killing him, that's racist as fuck.
Yeah.
I'd kill him because he was rude to Rose.
He wasn't. He was really nice. And they kissed at the end.
Didn't really. And he, like, broke her heart. He just, like...
raped him with her mouth.
She did rape him. She didn't ask first.
He was recovering from a traumatic crash. He was still like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
And Rose was
she just fucking mouth kissed him like goddamn Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
All right, you guys, that brings us to the end of 1 year together.
Hey-oo.
Next episode will be a new beginning.
I'm breaking up with you.
Alicia will be hungover from this episode because she drank a whole bottle of wine.
Come on, Jason.
I fucking did. You guys are losers.
I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting the podcast. You can check us out on all the medias, the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the whatnots. And, at Talking Poop Podcast. Our website is talkingpooppodcast.com. Brian, where can they check out your shit?
Brian Gunn Books on Instagram.
And where can they download your novel?
Amazon. Search for Time to Myself. My first short story is in a compilation with some other Western authors. It is Time to Myself. It's 99 cents for Amazon Kindle. Do yourself a favor and go check it out. Leave me feedback on my Instagram page, whether you liked it or you hated it. Let me know.
When I get some 99 cents, I'm going to buy that book.
I fucking hate you.
Alicia, what are you up to?
Dying. Drinking.
We're all dying, bitch. Act accordingly.
Fucking around in corn. The usual.
Where can all of our male listeners find your pussy?
And that butt crack.
It's funny. I was off social media for quite a while, and I've joined back up on it. So
OkCupid?
Gross.
Farmers only.
Hey, fuck you. I met my wife on OkCupid. You goddamn trash panda.
I know. I was trolling you on there.
Snatch.
You can find me. I don't know. Fucking find me on Facebook, Instagram. I do have a pretty fantastic fucking Twitter. My Twitter is nothing but quotes from my friends. Hilarious quotes, mostly from Jason about, talking about my fucking Talon feet, all that stupid shit. Anything he's made fun of me for, I put that shit on there, and it's hilarious. So,
it is pretty good.
Find me wherever. I'm out there.
So what is it, Alicia Irano at Instagram, or what's the deal?
It is Alicia Ireno.
Oh, yeah.
You dumb hooker. Yeah, for all of my shit.
That's her
all of
stage
it.
name for the podcast. She changed one
That's
letter.
my stage name. I gotta switch on my social
That'll
security
throw 'em.
card after this shit.
All right, you guys, it's been a year. Thank you for talking poop with us, and come back next time to talk some more poop. Because if you're not talking poop,
You don't know shit. I thought we were doing that together.
Alicia was supposed to do it. Let's try it again. If you're not talking poop,
You don't know shit.
you fucked it up.
Sorry, I thought you said Alicia.
God.
Was supposed to do- Let's try it one more
One
time.
more time, together. Ready?
All right. If you're not talking poop,
You don't know shit.
shit.
Oh, Alicia. God damn it, Alicia.
oh, that was awful, you
If
guys.
she's in the Iowa time zone.